Project Restoration, Jeremiah 23 and Hoods. Yeah, I just want to talk about running up. When you run up out there on those marks, let me say this. Uh, Remember that Mount Sinai, when the trumpets was blowing, go read your Bible. And it was talking about Moses and lightnings and trumpets and stuff like that. And they what? They ran up. Right? They pulled up. And when they pulled up and ran up, he said, don't let them run up, because Moses, if they run up, I say they should surely die. So the consequence of running up on God was death. Okay, let's go over to King David. King David saw the homie, because this position, power, and privilege, and usury and advantage always brings death every time when you misuse it and it minuses out the other people or person. He said, I want that woman, so I'm going to kill her husband, put him in front of the battle. The homie was so deep into the battle, he was out there for the king. He down like, man, I'm for the kingdom of God. That's the way he felt at that time. I'm going to die for God. So he went out there and they put him in the heat of battle. He died. He'd rather be dead doing something that he thought was going to progress God at that time. And they killed him. I think his name was Uriah. And then what happened? He took Bathsheba, the wife, and what happened? He married her. And his child died, the firstborn, their child died. And then King Solomon came after that. The bottom line, a lot of people point out the fact that he committed adultery. I just want to point out the fact, along with that fact, was more importantly, he had the pride of life and the lust of the eyes and the lust of the flesh kicked in on a thought. You hear what I'm saying? That he didn't deal with in the beginning, and he yielded to the thought because he coveted, like Adam, or Adam's wife coveted the apple, right? Like Achan coveted the silver and the gold, and he hid it, right? Achan coveted when they went in Joshua generation. After they went into the promised land, they got beat down. There was a multiplication of negatives because they couldn't win the battle, the children of Israel, the story says. And because they said, what has Israel done? And Joshua said, the servant of Moses, Israel has sinned. Get up and go find the person who they have stolen. Because God said, when you go here, I don't want you to touch nothing. Everything is mine. I'm going to deliver all y'all from covetousness, of seeing stuff and putting your hands on stuff. And I'm going to teach you self-control and discipline of everything you see you don't need. That's the first one. And everything, furthermore, belongs to me. And you are a steward over that. And therefore, don't touch nothing. Anyway, he saw the gold and the silver and the garment, and he hid it in his tent, and Israel lost thousands of people, multiplied minuses going that way. They couldn't go forward, multiplication pluses going that way, because they deviated from the instruction. And he said, that individual, don't tell me individual sin can't affect the whole corporate body. Don't tell me covetousness can't be like leaven, and it can run through the whole lump and corrupt the whole message. Check game. The bottom line, he coveted. He said, when I saw it, I coveted it there and hid him on my tent. Here they go. It cost him his life. They stoned him, his family, and his whole, and everything he had was cursed. And then they moved it and built memorial stones and say, look, man, this cat messed up. One guy. So if you want to be a leader, you better watch your influence, and you better, like Moses had, he had to get people that were to pick that would help him with counseling all them people, but they had the first rule, be men that hated covetousness or bribes, or I want something from you. Understand that. The bottom line is, guess what happened? He coveted that woman, King David. And guess what? Just like Achan coveted the silver and gold, and his whole family died, and the army was stopped because of it, and they couldn't go for it. Maybe that's some kind of parallelization. Now, you figure it out. I don't know. The bottom line, I'm just reading what the history says. And then, the bottom line, King David, he had the girl, and the man died in the battle. And he lost his firstborn. It really hurt David. And then King Solomon was born. The point was, his brother was his equal. Even though he had a function as a king, an office of a king, it didn't matter if he had the office of a prophet, apostle, a teacher, a pastor. We could break it down today. We could try to applicate it today, right? It don't matter who you are. The bottom line is this. The higher you go, the more accountable you are how you deal with your brother. brother. If it minuses him and it multiplies him, even though they might be in error, even though you might think their doctrine is wrong, even though you may disagree with their concepts, and you treat them worse than a dog through the lips that we bring when we speak cursing and blessing over man that was made in his image, you better watch what we kill, bro. The bottom line, he slayed the man. It cost him his baby. That was deep, man. You know, God didn't let that. Why? Law of one. David was functioning as a king, but God called them out as a people. And then not only called them as people, he called them out as tribes. And then it went from tribes to family. That was family. How you gonna kill your own brother and take his wife? It was, the pact was, you coveted something that didn't belong to you. That was his. So we gotta watch. Some stuff don't belong to us. Some money as leaders don't belong in leaders' hands. That money should have been in maybe Sister Lolofoot's sister hand or auntie's hand or grandma's hand. We can't make merchandise or think of people as money. You see what I'm saying? Because then we fall into the sin of David. They are your brother. And whatsoever things you want done for you, do for them. You want them to be out of debt? You help them get out. Serve them to get out of debt. That is to say, you could do it in one day. Take an offering and start paying off debts. And how cool would that be? If you want to be out of debt yourself as a leader. I'm saying Covenant took, even though he was king, he was part as a member of what we would call a body of believers, or a member or a kingdom of people, a family. And he thought in his mind, in a delusion, I can do this. I want that. I have the position, the privilege, the advantage, and the opportunity to get that. And even if it costs my brother, who should have paid his rent, or maybe he should have gave something to his grandmother, I want that money. He coveted, like Judas coveted the pieces of silver. He wanted the money. The money was symbolic of power, pride of life, lust of the eyes, and lust of the flesh. Things that I want to consume on my what? Like Achan, myself. Not for the collective cause. Not for the collective whole. I want to be the individual tree. And I want to suck off the ground, suck off the rain. I want to charge the birds for the sticks that fall off the ground. I want to charge them for the rent that they pay for my tree. And if they don't pay, I'm going to kick them out and let their babies die. Okay? I'm going to charge for the berries that the turkey's going to eat. And if the turkey don't pay me, the turkey would die. And if the grandmother with the grandkids don't get the turkey, I'll let them die. I am going to consume everything for myself. And that's perpetrating like the fig tree. I look like I'm out for the collective, but in fact, I'm only for my own individual gratification. And while I'll try to strategize, manipulate, and capitalize and use every ideology I can to get what I have in my heart towards you, if it costs you something, if it's going to cost you something, I don't care. I need what I need right now. I was a baby and I got everything that I wanted. And I'm still tantrum about what I don't have. I'm not grateful or appreciate of people that might have helped me. I want more. That's what Achan did. He didn't understand he was a steward over what God had gave him. And it wasn't his to even put his hands on. David coveted the lady, and it wasn't his to put his hands on. Touch not the unclean thing. Filthy lucre, or the way we handle money, can testify where we really are, what we want so bad that even if it costs somebody, I don't care if they've been paying rent in one of my houses for 10 years and I only bought it for $3,000 at a tax ID sale. And maybe this is my brother in the Lord and he been there 10 years renting from me. And I have to sell the house. I give him 6 months, a little token. And guess what? He gotta go. And then I sell the house and make $300,000, even though he paid for most of that house over and over again. What about Nehemiah? You shall not use this usury. You shall not covet what belongs to them. You shall cancel those debts. You shall, if they owe you something, freely give it to them. Nehemiah was pointing to a kingdom principle that he said, Christ, freely you have received, freely you give. Therefore, you don't covet or want something from somebody. You trying to get something to somebody so you can shine for the Most High. Bottom line, David coveted Bathsheba, and then he got what he wanted at the expense of his brother. And the biggest sin, he didn't realize through this office that he functioned in, that it was just an office to function in. God didn't see him no better than his brother. For John the Baptist said, Jesus said of John the Baptist, or Yeshua said, y'all said that the greatest one in the kingdom is greater than John the Baptist, and John the Baptist was the greatest prophet, he said, that ever lived. Now, therefore, his brother was equal with him, made in the image of God. That's why supremacy or hating or don't like people because of their race or whatever, if you could treat a dog good, you could treat a human being good because they made in God's image. I guess David said, no, he ain't. Hell, he beneath me. He's beneath me. I have the opportunity to have what I want, and I see that woman, and I'm going to go get that woman. He went and got the woman. He brung the curse, or he brung the curse on himself, and when he did, all hell broke loose. And I'm saying to you, do not use usury to get what you want with ill will intent to minus out somebody's life and subtract from their life, and you gain from that. No, that's not the way to go. That's the curse of covetousness. And all I'm saying to you is King David went down because he didn't respect his fellow brother. He didn't respect his equal. His brother was his equal. His office was a function, but his brother was his equal. Both made in the image of God. And when God seen it, it was as Cain slew Abel. It was like, that's your brother. Not you king, not you prophet, not you apostle, not you teacher or pastor. That's your brother. How dare you look down on your own? I made him in the image just like I made you. Brothers keepers, Jeremiah 23 and hoods. That's why we run this marathon, Project Restoration. Be blessed and stay away and hate all manner of covetousness. God bless you.